two critical immigration rules that have been recently announced, which is going to affect all international students, is that you cannot bring your dependents if you're coming to study on a course or a program that is not designated or described as a research program. And most of the time these kind of programs are often taught master's program with a minimum time on that course for about 9 months. Some go as much as 1 year. Second policy that's also going to affect international students is the fact that until you've completed your studies, you cannot actually switch to any kind of visa. So this means that you've got to actually complete your studies, graduate, before you can switch to your visa. We're not so shocked because, in fact, in our last video we spoke about where your scholarship money goes. If you haven't watched it, I'll put a link in the description box so you can follow on to watch that video. We did mention that it's very likely that in order to curb the immigration, the UK is going to take such a decision, and they have. But it's not all bad news. But before I talk about what you could do in this regard,
a new place, a new home for a while. Let me feel alive.
I would like us to think critically about it. When I came to study for my master's degree at the University of Cambridge, I did not come with my dependents. Now I know everybody's situation is different, and so you may be leaving a young child or whatever, and it may be very difficult or something. But if you think about it in terms of the cost involved in bringing over your dependents and coming to study maybe a program that's like a minimum of 9 months, maximum 1 year, I think if you think about the amount of money that you'd have to invest in bringing your dependents over, then perhaps you'd say that maybe not. They'll, for instance, if it's your partner, they'll have to get over here, they'll need to get NI, they'll need to, and that can take some time because NI is what will let you get your pay, and without the NI you can't actually work. So they have to apply for the NI, and that takes time. And sometimes, we've said it several times on our channel, that even getting a job can take time. So if you're coming on a program that's like just 1 year, then why would you want to go through all that hassle? So what would you do in this case? Well, I would suggest that if you can afford it, that is, you can afford coming away to study from your dependents for about 1 year, then try your best and don't bring your dependents. I know that there are some prestigious scholarships like Gates or MasterCard, which if you get that kind of scholarship, they will provide stipend for your dependents, like your children. There's about 14,000 pounds for 2 children, so you'd want to do that. However, if you cannot afford that and you're not getting that kind of scholarship, then I'll suggest you shouldn't bring your dependents and just finish your studies and then go back home. Or after you finish your studies, you're gonna just transfer to maybe tier 2, which with that kind of tier 2 work visa, you don't have that kind of restriction, so you can bring your dependent. What you have to do is perhaps switch to the graduate route, because there's a 2-year graduate visa program, so you can switch to that one, and then use that opportunity, that time that you've got, that 2 years, to look for a job after you've graduated. So that's one thing that you can do. Another thing that you can do to simply apply for research-based programs. Not all research based programs are 2 years and above. My master's program, which I studied here at the University of Cambridge, was the Educational Leadership and School Improvement, and this was actually a research-based program. To be fair, I do like research-based programs because with research-based programs, you get to explore a research topic that you like, and you can go in depth and you can understand it very well. You can get full grounding, you can engage with the literature, and there's so much support in UK universities to help you when you're going for a research-based program. You have a longer amount of time to be able to produce a dissertation, and that's very good skills that you can fall back on from that research degree that you get. Even if it's just a 1-year program, you'll be able to contribute to knowledge by writing publications that will be published in reputable journals, and that's really good because then you're sharing knowledge. So if you ask me, I will actually prefer a research program. So if you really want to bring your dependents here and you really want to also come to the UK, then apply for research-based programs, okay? And if you feel like this is a betrayal from the UK, and I think a lot of international students are feeling that way anyway, because they're thinking, well, look, they keep saying that, well, immigration, and we are trying to beat down immigration, but they know that international students and international workers are contributing a lot to the growth of the UK economy. So they shouldn't even consider students as part of their immigration crisis. Well, if you feel that, then perhaps you can look in other countries. You can consider Canada. In fact, there are a lot of European countries where tuition fees are actually cheaper, and there are some countries, European countries actually, where the universities are not just reputable, but they also actually consider you studying there as some kind of employment, so they actually pay you. So yeah, you can consider those universities. You just have to do your research, and you'll find, I'm sure there are so many videos like YouTube channels like ours that will talk about those things. And you can also look at going to maybe the States if you want there, or you can consider Australia. I mean, it's up to you. So now we are really spoiled for choice, so you can even consider Asian countries. What about that? Like Japan, China. These days they have very very, what's the word, they have like a lot of reputable programs that can match the offer of UK universities boot for boot. So you can consider those areas as well. So yeah, I mean, I know a friend who studied in China and then came after their program to they got a job here, and then they relocated here. So it doesn't mean that once you study elsewhere in another country, you still can't come over to the UK. The most important thing is that you're studying courses that are in demand, and that's also one key thing. Don't just come and study a course that is not in demand, and at the end of the day, like, you're struggling to even get a work-based visa, because you can look at the shortage occupations in the UK to help you decide on the kind of courses that you'd want to study. Sometimes people just whatever they want to study, they just view it like as in cast in stone, for lack of a better expression. But like, yeah, they say, okay, I want to study public health, and that's it. But they're looking at how the world is progressing. I'm not saying that is for public health, but you can see that maybe public health is not in demand. Perhaps climate change is in demand, so you could consider a career in climate change, or perhaps I don't know, whatever. So don't have your decisions cast in stone, so that you're saying that, yeah, I've always wanted to study let's say education, so that's what I'm going to study. What about, even in education, there are some topics that are now in demand, they are current, like you can look at even AI in education and all those kind of things. So yeah, I would advise you to consider all these things. today is actually a bonus video because we normally upload videos twice a month, long form videos that is, and short forms anytime we get the opportunity and inspiration. You know how it is, we're working full time, so it can be a bit tricky, but for the love of sharing knowledge, we are here on YouTube to help all of you who want to also aspire to come to the UK to live, work and study in Cambridge particularly. So if this is the kind of vibe that you have, then please consider subscribing to our channel. It's the Juvenile Issues in Cambridge, and we vlog about everything that has to do with studying, living and working in Cambridge. And that is it for today. So long, see you, bye.